Chosen one, lock your attention on this message right now. That feeling in your spirit, the one that has been whispering that you are not alone in this fight, do not dismiss it. The enemy has been working overtime against you this week for one reason and one reason only. He just lost his authority over your situation. And he knows it. It all shifts now. The isolation, the confusion, the sense that you have been fighting a battle no one else can see. But here is what you need to hear. It is not shifting because you finally said the right words or performed the right way. It is shifting because of what you have been carrying in silence and how you have carried it. Think back to that moment this week when someone came at you with words, with accusations, with pressure designed to break you, and instead of matching their energy, you pulled back. You stayed quiet. You walked away when everything in you wanted to defend yourself. You did not know it then, but that was not retreat. That was the moment your defender stepped forward. The moment you stepped back, heaven stepped in. You did not stumble into this message. The algorithm did not surface this video. God did. This is a divine appointment, scheduled before the foundations of the earth, arriving at the exact moment your spirit needed confirmation of what has already been decided in the courts of heaven. You are standing at a threshold. Stay until the very last second, because in the next few minutes, I am going to hand you the legal decree that confirms who is fighting this battle on your behalf. I am going to show you the exact moment this week where your restraint became a weapon so powerful the enemy could not recover from it. And at the end, I am going to give you the declaration that seals your protection and closes the door on every assignment that has been launched against your name. Do not click away. Your future self is begging you to stay. Because if you leave now, you leave before you hear the verdict that was written specifically for you. I know what the last 72 hours have felt like. The atmosphere has not just been tense, it has been strange, like something invisible has been shifting around you that you could feel but could not name. Maybe you woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning this week in the middle of complete silence and felt a weight pressing on your chest that had nothing to do with anything physical. Your mind immediately went to the worst possibilities. Or maybe you were in a conversation this week, or watching one unfold, where someone was speaking against you, dismissing you, or trying to dismantle what you have been building. And something in your spirit told you to stay still, to say nothing, to let it go. And since that moment, you have been questioning whether staying quiet was weakness, whether your silence gave them permission, whether you should have said something, whether you let yourself down. You feel suspended in a space between the life that has been attacked and the life that was promised. And the enemy has been using that suspension to plant a very specific lie. Listen to your thoughts right now. He has been telling you that the reason nothing has visibly changed yet is because you did not do enough. He has been replaying that moment where you chose silence over confrontation and telling you that your restraint cost you something. He has been whispering that you are unprotected, that the people coming against you have more power than you do, that God has been watching without intervening, that you are out there alone. But I need you to hear what the scripture actually says about this moment. Psalm 35:1 says, "Contend, Lord, with those who contend with me, fight against those who fight against me." Listen to what that promise actually means. You were never supposed to win this fight yourself. The moment you stepped back from that confrontation, you were not conceding the battle. You were handing it to the one who cannot lose. God does not need your defense of yourself. He is already your defense. And when you stayed silent, you were not failing. You were activating a divine contention that no human opposition can survive. The heaviness you feel is not the weight of someone winning against you. It is the weight of a verdict being enforced. You are not in a battle that is still being decided. You are in the aftermath of one that has already been settled. That silence you have been replaying in your mind was not a mistake. It was a signal, and the one who fights for you heard it. Most chosen ones who hear a message like this feel the fire for about 48 hours. Then the dryness returns. The doubt creeps back. The silence gets louder. And within a week, They are exactly where they were before, waiting, wondering, spiritually exhausted. That cycle breaks today, or it does not. The inner sanctum puts a prophetic word from the throne room in your hands every single morning. 365 days of hearing God before the world can speak first. The link is in the first pinned comment. It will not be there forever, and neither will this window God just opened for you. Before we go any further, if you want to go deeper into everything we're about to uncover today, the spiritual laws behind divine protection, how to recognize when heaven is moving on your behalf, and what it means to walk in your full assignment, I've put it all together in a guide called The Protected One. The link is in the description. Now let's get into this. There's something happening around your life right now that you haven't fully seen yet. Not because it's been hidden from you, but because the weight of what you've been carrying has kept your eyes focused down when heaven has been moving above you the entire time. Imagine being so consumed by the dust kicked up by a raging storm at your feet that you couldn't lift your gaze to see the majestic eagles soaring effortlessly in the clear blue sky above the tempest. You've been so consumed with surviving the attack, with bracing yourself against the relentless winds and the pelting rain, that you didn't notice the attack already failed. It's like focusing on the dents and scratches on your car after a near-miss accident, missing the fact that the vehicle is still fundamentally sound, the chassis intact, the engine running. You've been rehearsing the worst-case scenario so many times, playing out every possible negative outcome in the theater of your mind, that you almost missed the moment protection showed up, and quietly, subtly, rearranged everything the enemy thought was set against you. It was like a divine stagehand, meticulously resetting the props of your life, while you were still distracted by the closing curtain of your perceived crisis. This is where most people stay stuck, not in the battle itself. That's a phase, a season that can be navigated, but in the story they keep telling about the battle. They hold the wound so close to their eyes that it becomes all they can see, a blinding fog that obscures the horizon. And when all you can see is the wound, you become incapable of seeing the warrior standing between you and what was coming next. You miss the invisible shield that deflected the blow, the silent guardian who intercepted the arrow. You can't see the doors that were divinely closed on your behalf, shutting you away from paths that would have led to ruin. You can't see the conversations you were never meant to hear, the whispers of deceit that were kept from your ears like a shield against venom. You can't see the rooms you were never supposed to enter, the gatherings where ill intent festered, the circles of influence that would have ensnared you. You can't see the connections that looked like blessings, shimmering with the allure of opportunity, but were actually carefully constructed traps, disguised as stepping stones but leading to quagmires. Protection isn't always loud. It doesn't always arrive with a trumpet fanfare and a thunderous declaration. Sometimes it sounds like rejection, the door slamming shut, the opportunity evaporating, the invitation rescinded, and you feel the sting of being overlooked. Sometimes it looks like delay, the project stalled, the promotion postponed, the healing not immediate, and you question if your prayers are even being heard. Sometimes the most powerful thing heaven does for you is the thing you spend 6 months being angry about, wrestling with disappointment and questioning divine timing. All the while unaware that this very delay was a divine redirection, a sacred pause that saved you from a future you couldn't yet comprehend. Think about David in the wilderness. He was anointed, chosen by God, marked for greatness, and yet he spent years hiding in caves, a fugitive from a king consumed by jealousy, running for his life from Saul, who wanted him dead. He was surrounded by a band of men who were themselves broken, desperate, and disillusioned, a motley crew of outcasts who saw their leader as a beacon in their own darkness. From the outside, if you were to glance at the scrolls of his life during that time, it would have looked like abandonment. It would have seemed as though God had forgotten his word over David's life, as though the anointing oil had dried up, and the promises were mere dust in the wind. But what was actually happening in that wilderness, in those desolate places, was far more sacred, far more potent than anything happening in the opulent yet treacherous palace. David was being formed. He was being tempered in the fires of adversity, not for destruction, but for refinement. He was being protected from his own immaturity, from the rashness that kingship might have brought before he was ready. He was being kept from the throne, from the immense weight and responsibility of ruling, until he could carry the weight of the crown without it crushing him, without it corrupting him. The wilderness wasn't the enemy's work, not in the way it appeared. It was the sacred covering of God, disguised as hardship, a divinely orchestrated period of incubation and preparation, a crucible for his character. And here's where it goes deeper, where the ancient story becomes a living word for you today. Because what happened to David isn't just ancient history, it's a mirror reflecting your own journey. If you've been in a season that feels like you've been passed over, pushed back, or held down like a seed buried too deep, the question you need to sit with, the contemplation that can unlock revelation, isn't "why is this happening to me?" That's a question of victimhood. The real transformative question is, what is being preserved inside me while this is happening? What divine spark is being shielded from premature exposure? What potential is being nurtured in this unseen incubation? The delay is not a denial, it's a divine redirection. The cave is not a grave, it's a sanctuary for formation. And the people who walked away from you, the relationships that dissolved, the connections that severed, they didn't take your destiny with them when they left. Their departure was not an amputation of your future, but often a pruning necessary for your growth. But here's what most people miss entirely: a blind spot that can keep them tethered to struggle. They spend so much energy trying to figure out who's against them, meticulously charting every perceived enemy, every obstacle, every perceived betrayal, that they never stop to ask who's been assigned to them. They're so focused on the darkness, they can't perceive the unseen light carriers. There are forces operating on your behalf right now, angelic hosts, divine interventions, spiritual architects, that you have no frame of reference for. These are movements happening in the spiritual atmosphere around your life that no human eye can track, no earthly algorithm can predict. The book of Daniel gives us a powerful glimpse of this cosmic chess match. When Daniel prayed a sincere cry from his heart, the answer was dispatched from heaven the very same day he opened his mouth. Imagine the answer, a celestial decree, a solution from the throne room, already in transit. But there was warfare in the atmosphere, a spiritual resistance, a battle between the heavenly dispatch and the earthly delivery. Principalities and powers sought to intercept, to delay, to destroy. And yet, and this is the part that should reach into your deepest spirit and ignite a fire of certainty, the answer never turned back. It pressed through the resistance. It fought through the atmospheric warfare. It arrived. What was sent for you, what was divinely commissioned on your behalf, could not be ultimately stopped by what was standing against you. That's the profound reality of your life right now, a truth that can shatter chains of doubt. What has been sent for you, what is essential for your destiny, is pressing through the opposition. It is moving, albeit perhaps unseen, towards its appointed destination. And just when you think the wait has been too long, when the impatience gnaws at your soul, stay with me, because what I'm about to share next is the critical layer that breaks the cycle of doubt completely, that reveals the hidden mechanism of divine provision. The enemy knows something about you that you've been slow to believe about yourself. He sees your potential, your divine blueprint, with a clarity that often surpasses your own self-perception. He knows that if you ever fully step into the understanding of who you are in the divine economy and whose unwavering protection covers you, his access to your peace, his ability to sow discord and steal your joy, is permanently severed. His reign of influence over you becomes null and void. So his strategy isn't to destroy you outright, because, in the grand scheme of divine purpose, he can't. His power is limited, his authority derived. The strategy is subtler, far more insidious, and infinitely more dangerous. It's to convince you to dismantle your own protection, to become your own saboteur. He does this through agreement, through nursing bitterness like a cherished possession. through the slow, insidious erosion of trust that happens when the answer takes longer than you expected, when the divine timing doesn't align with your immediate desires. When you start agreeing with the narrative that you've been forgotten, that you're on your own, that the heavens are silent, you begin to open doors that your divine protection was designed to keep immaculately closed. Agreement is the enemy's most powerful weapon, a spiritual handshake with the adversary, and most people never recognize it because it doesn't feel like betrayal. It feels like realism. It feels like finally being honest with yourself, like facing the cold, hard facts. But it's a counterfeit wisdom, a deceptive counsel dressed in the language of self-awareness and pragmatic thinking, and it leads nowhere good. It leads to a place of spiritual vulnerability and defeat. This is the thing no one wants to hear, the difficult truth that pierces comfortable illusions. But it needs to be said, for your liberation. Some of the warfare you've been fighting hasn't been coming from outside of you, from external forces. Some of it has been originating from the agreements you've made in moments of profound exhaustion and deep pain, unconscious contracts signed in the darkness of your soul. The moment you sighed, "This always happens to me," that became an agreement with a pattern of defeat. The moment you decided that love wasn't safe, that vulnerability was an invitation to destruction, that became an agreement with isolation. The moment you concluded that your breakthrough was for other people, for those more deserving, more faithful, but never quite for you, that became an agreement with limitation. Every one of those declarations, spoken or even deeply felt, became a spiritual agreement, a covenant with a certain reality. And agreements have consequences, not because God abandoned you, not because He is punishing you, but because you handed permission, you ceded authority to something that had no divine right to your peace, to your joy, to your progress. But here's the astonishing grace in that truth, and this is where everything begins to shift, where the paradigm flips. An agreement can be broken. What was spoken in pain can be revoked in power. Just as a contract can be nullified, so too can these spiritual agreements be dissolved. The moment you withdraw your agreement from the lie, the moment you decisively reject the narrative that has been holding you captive, the very infrastructure that lie was holding up begins to collapse. You don't have to fight your way out of every spiritual battle with brute force. Sometimes the most powerful warfare you can wage, the most potent spiritual strike you can deliver, is simply refusing to keep agreeing with what heaven has already decisively rejected about your situation. It's standing firm in the truth, withdrawing your energetic and spiritual consent from the darkness. And this leads us to something that changes how you see everything, a revelation that reorients your entire perspective. Coming up, the hidden contradiction at the center of your divine protection, a paradox that most people walk right past, blinded by their expectations. And once you see it, once you grasp its profound implication, you can't unsee it. It becomes a lens through which you will view all your future trials. You've been looking for protection to show up as comfort, as ease, as the gentle removal of every obstacle from your path, leaving a smooth, unblemished road ahead. But divine protection rarely looks like a cleared path. It rarely means the absence of challenge or the silencing of the storm. More often, it looks like a guide through the fire, a companion in the crucible. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't come out of the furnace before the fire was lit. They walked into the furnace, into the very heart of the consuming flames. And the miracle wasn't that they avoided the heat. The miracle was that something walked into the fire with them, something that the enemy didn't put there, something that the king's raging fury couldn't account for. The king looked into that furnace, expecting to see 3 men reduced to ashes, their bodies consumed by the inferno. What he saw instead was 4, and the 4th, he himself testified, looked like the Son of God, the divine presence of the Almighty walking with them. Protection wasn't removal from the trial. Protection was presence within the trial. And that divine presence, that intimate companionship of God Himself, made the fire lose its power to destroy what God had decided to preserve. It could singe, it could refine, but it could not consume. This is the refrain that shifts everything, the paradigm shift that brings true liberation. Stop waiting for your trial to end before you believe you're protected. The evidence of your divine covering isn't the absence of fire, it's the undeniable presence of God inside the fire with you. The fact that you're still standing, even when the heat is intense. Still thinking, still processing, still capable of coherent thought amidst the chaos. Still here watching this message, still breathing, still capable of receiving this word of truth and hope, that is profound evidence of your divine protection. You came through things that should have broken you, shattered you into a million pieces. You survived seasons that were specifically designed to end your momentum, to disconnect you from your purpose, to cut off your future before it could even take shape. And here you are, standing, breathing, learning. That is not luck. That is not mere human resilience alone. That is someone, the divine protector, the faithful guardian, making absolutely sure that what was assigned to you, your destiny, your calling, could still reach you, unimpeded by the circumstances. But wait, before you move forward, before you embrace this truth fully, you need to see this one more layer, this deeper understanding. Because there's something beneath even that powerful truth, a crucial element, and it's the part most people in your position never get to, the part that unlocks sustained transformation. Here's the part that's going to challenge you in a way you might not expect, pushing you beyond surface-level faith. The protection over your life is not passive. It's not a static force field that simply hovers around you like an invisible bubble, keeping all harm at bay while you remain unchanged and undisturbed within its confines. The protection over your life has a dynamic, inherent purpose built into it, and that purpose is your transformation. You are not just being shielded from harm, you are being actively shaped, molded, and refined for a greater destiny. And the shaping process, by its very nature, requires that some things which felt like protection, which seemed like comfort or security, must be removed. Some relationships you desperately wanted to keep, believing they were essential to your well-being, were gently, or sometimes forcefully, with a divine hand that felt like loss, taken from your hands. Some opportunities you prayed for with all your heart were closed off in ways that felt cruel, inexplicable, and deeply disappointing. Some seasons of comfort, of predictability, were disrupted, their stability shaken, so that something deeper, something more robust, something more aligned with your true purpose, could be built in their place. And the temptation in those moments, when you experience loss or disruption, is to conclude that your protection failed, that God's vigilance wavered. But what was actually happening was that your protection was doing exactly what it was divinely designed to do. It was refusing to let you settle for something smaller, something less than the magnificent potential and the divine assignment you were built for. It was saying no to comfort that would hinder your calling. This is where the real transformation begins, the profound metamorphosis of the soul, and it's the confrontation this message has been building toward from the very beginning. The thing that has been blocking you most profoundly, more than the enemy's power, more than the echoes of your past, isn't even the people who chose themselves over you, whose betrayals cut deep. The primary thing that has been blocking you, the invisible barrier to your highest potential, is your own inability to fully trust a protection you cannot fully see. You've been waiting for visible, tangible confirmation of what has already been spiritually confirmed in the heavenly realms. You've been asking for proof of something that doesn't operate in the realm of empirical evidence. It operates in the realm of faith, in the quiet knowing of the heart. And here's the sacred, tension-filled paradox. The moment you fully surrender to the protection you cannot see, the moment you release the need for visual proof, the things you can see begin to rearrange themselves. The alignment you've been waiting for, the breakthrough you've been praying for, cannot be forced into place while your fist is still clenched tightly around the fear that it won't come, around the doubt that it's even possible. True faith is an open hand, ready to receive. And here's what I need you to receive before we close: a divine impartation for your spirit. This isn't a message you stumbled upon by accident. You were guided here, divinely led to this specific truth at this precise moment. Something was at work in the sequence of your day, in the algorithms of your feed, in the timing of this video appearing in your path. Because there is something in you, a hunger, a need, a question, that required hearing this specific truth at this specific moment for your breakthrough. That is not coincidence. That is the same protection we've been talking about, the divine intelligence, the heavenly care, working even here, even now, even in this small digital moment, to make sure you did not go another day without knowing with absolute certainty that you are covered, you are divinely shielded, you are deeply loved. You are not alone in what you're facing. You were never, ever alone. And the one who has been defending you in rooms you've never entered, in conversations you'll never hear, in spiritual atmospheres your natural eyes cannot perceive, the one who has been your unseen advocate and protector, that same one is not finished with you. The assignment over your life has not been revoked. The promise has not expired. And the covering that has brought you this far, through every storm, every trial, every valley, is the same unbreakable covering that will carry you victoriously into what's next. It is the very power that will usher you into your fulfilled destiny. If this message reached something in you today, something that needed to be awakened or confirmed, don't let it stop here. Share this with someone who needs to know they're not alone in their battle. Leave a comment below with the word "protected" so I know this landed, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Because this is only the beginning of what we're uncovering together.